A routine traffic stop turns into a nightmare. But not for the man you think. When a racist cop pulls over a driver late at night, he believes he's caught just another suspect. His tone is harsh, his words are laced with prejudice, and he's ready to throw his weight around. But here's the twist he never saw coming. This suspect isn't just any man. He's one of the most powerful figures in the entire city, a superior court judge. In the next few minutes, you'll witness how one officer's arrogance backfired in the most humiliating way possible. By the end of this story, you'll see why this moment became a lesson that shook an entire police department. So buckle up, because once the judge reveals who he really is, the officer's career may never be the same again. Flashing lights. A sudden siren. If you've ever been pulled over by the police, you know that sinking feeling in your chest. For most people, it's nerve-wracking. But for one man on this particular night, that flashing light was the start of a story that would shake an entire police department. Judge Marcus Henderson wasn't just any driver. He was a respected African-American judge, known in the community for his fairness, his calm presence in the courtroom, and his dedication to justice. People trusted him because he never played favorites. He judged people by facts, not by appearances. But on this night, all of that reputation meant nothing, at least to the man about to walk up to his window. Marcus had just finished one of the toughest days of his career. He had presided over a long and emotional case, and his mind was exhausted. As he finally left the courthouse, he allowed himself to relax. Driving home through the quiet suburban streets, he turned on some soft jazz, letting the music wash away the stress of the day. For the first time in hours, he smiled. Then it happened. Red and blue lights filled his rearview mirror. His stomach tightened. He knew he wasn't speeding. His turn signal had been on. His car was brand new. No broken taillights, no missing plates. None of this made sense. Still, Marcus was a man of the law. He knew how these things worked. Calmly, he slowed down, pulled his sleek black sedan to the curb, and rolled down the window. He placed both hands on the steering wheel, the way he had advised so many young men to do in his courtroom. Little did he know, the man approaching his car wasn't interested in laws or fairness. He was about to show Marcus the ugly face of prejudice. As Judge Marcus Henderson waited quietly in his car, he noticed the officer walking up with a heavy, almost aggressive stride. This wasn't the cautious, professional approach Marcus had seen from countless good officers in his courtroom. No, this was different. The officer's hand hovered near his holster, and the glare on his face made it clear. He already believed Marcus was guilty of something. The officer's name was Officer Bradley, and in town, he was known for his short temper. Neighbors whispered about him. Drivers who looked a certain way, especially drivers of color, often had stories of being harassed by him. Tonight, Judge Henderson was about to witness that reputation firsthand. Bradley leaned into the driver's window without so much as a good evening. Instead, his first words came out sharp, almost like an accusation. License and registration. Now. Marcus, calm as ever, handed over his documents. His voice was steady as he asked, "Officer, could you tell me the reason for this stop?" But Bradley wasn't listening. He didn't even glance at the license before shining his flashlight all over the interior of the car as if searching for trouble. His eyes narrowed at the leather briefcase on the passenger seat, then at the expensive watch on Marcus's wrist. "Nice car you're driving," Bradley sneered. "You sure this belongs to you?" Marcus raised an eyebrow but stayed calm. Years of experience on the bench had taught him how to handle hostility. But even so, he could feel the sting of disrespect. This wasn't about a traffic violation. This was about something deeper, something ugly. And when Bradley added under his breath, "People like you always think you can get away with things," Marcus knew this encounter was about to escalate. The night air was cool, but the atmosphere around the car was boiling with tension. Officer Bradley's tone grew sharper with every word, as though he wanted to remind Marcus who had the power in this situation. "Step out of the vehicle." Bradley ordered, his hand still hovering near his belt. Judge Henderson exhaled slowly. He knew he had done nothing wrong, but he also knew what could happen when tempers flared. He unbuckled his seatbelt, opened the door, and stepped out calmly. His years on the bench had shown him too many tragic stories of what could happen during traffic stops. He wasn't about to make a sudden move. "Stand over here," Bradley said, motioning to the front of the car. "Keep your hands where I can see them." Marcus obeyed, but once again asked, in the same measured tone, "Officer, I'd like to know the reason for this stop. My documents are valid, and I was driving well under the limit." Bradley's response was dripping with arrogance. "You think you're smarter than me? I've seen your type before. Expensive suits, fancy cars, acting like the law doesn't apply to you. Let me tell you something. You're not above the law." For a moment, Marcus remained silent. He could feel Bradley trying to provoke him, trying to push him into anger. But Marcus had learned the most powerful tool in moments like this was patience. Then, quietly but firmly, he reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a leather badge holder. Slowly, carefully, he flipped it open. The gold seal glistened under the beam of the flashlight. "Officer," Marcus said in a steady voice, "I suggest you take a good look at this before you say another word." For a split second, the world seemed to freeze. The bright beam of Bradley's flashlight landed directly on the badge, and his smug expression drained from his face. His lips parted, but no words came out. He blinked, then read the name aloud under his breath. Marcus Henderson, Superior Court Judge. The title hit him like a thunderclap. This wasn't some random driver he could bully. This was a man who sat on the bench, who presided over cases, who held the very authority to decide the futures of people brought into his courtroom, including police officers. Bradley's arrogance melted away, replaced by panic. His voice, once sharp and commanding, now stumbled over apologies. I didn't realize, sir. If I had known—" Judge Henderson cut him off with a firm but calm tone. "Exactly, officer. You didn't realize. You didn't bother to ask. You didn't stop to treat me with the basic respect every citizen deserves." The silence was heavy. Bradley's throat went dry. His hand, which had been so close to his holster moments earlier, now trembled as he awkwardly handed back the judge's documents. Marcus didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. The authority in his words carried more weight than shouting ever could. "You saw my skin color and made assumptions," he continued. "Do you understand how dangerous that is? If I weren't in this position, tonight could have ended very differently." Bradley swallowed hard, his face burning with shame. The red and blue lights from the patrol car still flashed against the dark street, but now they felt less like symbols of authority and more like a spotlight, exposing his behavior. And for the first time that night, it was Officer Bradley who felt powerless. Judge Henderson held Bradley's gaze, his calm demeanor cutting deeper than any anger could. He didn't need to shout, because his words carried the weight of both truth and authority. "Officer Bradley," he said steadily, "I'll be reporting this incident to your department, but I want you to think carefully about what just happened here tonight. You saw a man driving a nice car, and because of the color of his skin, you treated him like a suspect instead of a citizen. Imagine how many others have faced this treatment without a badge to protect them." Bradley's shoulders slumped. He muttered something that sounded like an apology, but his voice was too soft, too shaken to carry. He couldn't escape the reality. His actions had been exposed in the worst possible way. Marcus continued. His words meant not just for Bradley, but for every officer who might hear this story. You wear that uniform to serve and protect, not to harass and intimidate. Every person you stop is someone's son, daughter, mother, or father. They deserve dignity. They deserve respect. If tonight teaches you nothing else, let it teach you this. Power means responsibility, not abuse. With that, Marcus retrieved his documents, walked back to his car, and drove off slowly, leaving Bradley standing under the harsh glow of the flashing lights. The aftermath was swift. Judge Henderson filed a formal complaint, and the department launched an internal investigation. Bradley was disciplined, but the lesson went far beyond punishment. The story spread through the community, sparking conversations about profiling, fairness, and the kind of police officers people wanted serving their streets. For Bradley, the shame of that night never faded. For everyone else, Judge Henderson's calm but powerful response became a reminder: respect should never depend on status. It should be given to all. And that night, under the flashing red and blue lights, justice didn't happen in a courtroom. It happened on the side of the road. A powerful reminder that respect should never depend on status, race, or title. It should be given to everyone. Officer Bradley learned the hard way that abuse of power always comes back around. And Judge Henderson showed the world that true strength lies in calmness, dignity, and truth. If this story shocked you, inspired you, or made you think differently about respect and justice, don't let it stop here. Hit that like button. If you believe everyone deserves to be treated equally, subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories just like this one. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next story that could change the way you see the world, because trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.